Perfect. So this is our home page here, and we're gonna start just kind of doing an overview of the home page and all the functions it has. So we're gonna start right at the top left corner here with the library info tab. Now we're gonna be using this pretty frequently, no matter how deep we get into searches or whatever links or pages we get to. We're always gonna be able to click library info and click home, and it'll bring us right back to the home page here. So really useful if you want to get back. Directly underneath, we have an About Track link. And that's going to bring us to some information about Track. So for those who don't know, TRACpac is the online catalog, this website that we use in the Yellowhead Regional System. Track is a partnership with 4 Alberta library systems, and these include the Peace Library System, Northern Lights, Yellowhead Regional Library, which is us, and Marigold Library System. Collectively, there are about over 170 member libraries and their collections on TRACpac. So the catalog allows you to request items all the way from Grand Prairie and Peace to Drumheller and Marigold. So you're getting items from across the province from multiple libraries. You're able to access the TRACpac site. You can do it from a home computer, a tablet, a smartphone, computers in your home library. It has a very responsive design, so it's very easy to use and to manipulate. Specifically to what you're going to find in a TRACpac is a variety of materials, and these could be things like physical books, large print items. We have magazines, lots of AV materials like DVDs and Blu-rays, but also lots of digital content as well. So let's start with looking at some of the EResources and how we access those. So we're just going to go to the search tab right here, and we're going to go all the way down to EResources. We're going to click, there's 2 options here. We're going to go to A to Z list, and it's going to list the EResources that are currently linked into TRACpac. So we have Ancestry Library Edition. We have Cloud Library and Overdrive, which are going to give you some great options for digital ebooks. And then we have the Reader's Advisory Tool Novelist. So we have a K-8 version and the Novelist Plus. For Cloud Library and Overdrive, actually, we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about, we'll go home, just the URL. So if you want to access TRACpac, you're just going to go www.trackpac.av.ca. and it'll bring you to the homepage. Alternatively, another way to get to the site is if you're on your home library's webpage, and many of the home library web pages in the Yellowhead Regional Library are going to look very similar. You can click on this magnifying glass in the corner here, and that's going to bring you to TRACpac as well. But before we do anything, we have to log in. So let's log in the top right corner here. I have my library barcode and my password. Now, users can still browse the catalog without a library card. However, they're not going to be able to place any holds or any requests on items. And we're going to log in. Perfect. Okay, so immediately upon logging in, it's going to show you any items that you have out. So right now, I have a variety of items just to show what it looks like. It's going to have the title. It's going to have the due date down this column here. This one's due today. And it's going to have your renewals as well, how many you have left, and which branch it's actually from. The very right-hand column here shows the format of the item. So it looks like I have a couple of Blu-rays, a DVD out, and some EResources. So this is the Overdrive logo. And down here is the Cloud Library logo. So what I wanted to speak on earlier about these EResources is that for Overdrive items, when you're checking an item out from Overdrive in TRACpac, it's going to give you the option to download it directly in your browser or as an ebook on your desktop. For Cloud Library, you will have to actually go to the Cloud Library resource in order to download any checkouts from that resource. But what's nice is that it keeps it all together in this one page so that regardless of whether you're checking out items from Overdrive or Cloud Library, you're able to see what's due when and how long you have access to that specific item. Okay, library info and home. Okay, in terms of search options, we're working our way down the line here, and we're going to go through each of these. Searching, we're able to do keyword searches. We can do browsing with subject headings, and we can even do advanced search operations. EResources we just spoke about too. Under the My Account tab, we have information on your record, the items out, which we just looked at, any requests you've placed and their status, a spot for fines and fees, any saved searches that the user has saved, and any list that the user has saved as well. And we're going to go through both of these more in depth. At the very end here is a very useful tab, this help tab. So after today, if there's any questions or parts of the webinar that maybe didn't 100% make sense, I definitely recommend coming here, because when you click on these, it's going to bring up lots of information that you can read on and just gain a more comprehensive understanding on the subject. So very helpful, very useful. Okay, we're going to move over to our left side column here. And I'm just going to minimize these just so we can see what we're working with. On the left side column, we have 6 different tabs. The My Account tab is going to have the user's name in the top left corner here. And if we click it, it's going to bring up a bunch of user information. So we're going to have the library they're registered at. We're going to have the original registration date, the expiration date of the card. That's important. Underneath that is a spot for messages from the library. Directly under that, we have contact information and preferences. So this could be maybe the user needs to make a change of address. Maybe the user needs to change their email or phone number in which they receive messages. Really important to note here, this is also where we change the preferred pickup location. So maybe a user has moved from one area within the Yellowhead catchment to another, and they need to change their pickup library. This is where you would go in to actually select that and make that change. And then at the very bottom, we have log on information. So you can change your username or even your password, depending on user preference. All right. Underneath that, we have the My List tab or Save Lists. And this is a space to create custom lists of items within the Trackpac catalog. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can either create a new list here and add items as you like, or while we're browsing through different item records, we're able to create new lists and add them directly from the item. I'll click this one. This is an example one I made, just to show you what it looks like when you add items to a list and how it looks. It gives you the option to remove them as well. So very adaptable. Some good ideas for this list is maybe a user wants to create a to be read list. Maybe a user wants to create a list of their favorite mystery novels. Maybe the card is used by multiple people and they each want to create their own list of titles. So there's a lot of different ways to use this feature, and it can be very useful. Underneath that, we have our saved searches. And once we get into the searching part of this webinar, we're going to get a little bit more into this. But when you save your searches, they are going to appear on this left side column here. So if there are frequent searches that the user is making every time they come into the library or every time they're on the Trackpac catalog, it's really useful to be able to save those parameters and those limiters so that they can simply click on the save search and it'll bring up all results pertaining to that search. Next, we have our TRACpac App tab, and it has download TRACpac for Android or Apple. So clicking on this is going to bring us to a page where users can download our app. We have a free TRACpac app. It's very similar to the website, and I'll talk a little bit more about the app towards the end. But this page allows you to download it from the Apple Store for iPhone or for an Android device from the Google Play Store. I definitely recommend if you have users who are on the TRACpac website through their phone browser. Clicking on this and then selecting which device they use will instantly bring them to that store so they can download it free of charge. All right. Directly underneath that, we have a tab for new titles, and we have 4 categories here. So there's books, videos, sound recordings, and large print. If we click on one of them, it's going to show all new items that have been recently added into the TRACpac catalog. Now, just because it says new videos does not necessarily mean that these have all been released in 2021 or have been released in this past November. This just means that they're new to us. So they've been newly added for the user to browse and to place requests on. All right. And at the very bottom here is a very important resource. So this can be used if the user is looking for digital materials or maybe an item that's not specifically in the catalog. It has links to Cloud Library and Overdrive, which we spoke about briefly, where you're going to be able to find a large selection of digital ebooks. It has a link to Me Libraries, which will allow the user to connect their library card to borrow from other Alberta public libraries. And then there is also the Interlibrary Loan Alberta Relay resource. And this is going to allow for province-wide borrowing, and it's external to TRACpac. So what'll happen is if, let's say a user is looking for a very specific book or a very, a DVD we don't have, definitely check out the relay system. It's going to ship it from where other library systems in the province that are not part of TRAC, and it's going to ship it to the user's home library. So very useful for those hard to find items. All right. Next, we're going to take a look at these middle carousels here. So we do have 4 carousels. It's the fiction, nonfiction, TV and movies, and children's. And these are ever evolving. So these are just showing most popular items at the moment. These could change every day, but it's a nice way for some serendipitous browsing for the user and to maybe find something new or something popular that they've heard of, but just haven't been reminded of as of yet. So very interesting. I always check these out whenever I log on. All right. The last thing I want to draw attention to is just this large text button at the top here. Sometimes we have users with visibility needs, and the increasing the font size can be really beneficial. So clicking it is going to significantly increase the font size, make it a little bit easier to read. And then to revert back to it, we're just going to hit regular text and it'll go back. All right. Just going to stop for a sip of water, and then we're going to get into our search functions here. But if anyone has any questions, I'm just going to check the chat to see. Awesome. Okay, let's get into searching. So the standard search box is on the home page here, and this is where many searches are going to begin. It has one limiter function, and this allows you to search by specific formats. So this is things like books, DVDs, Blu-ray discs. So if I type in, let's say we're looking for The Sun. Oops, I was a little too quick on that. We're going to look for DVDs about The Sun. That's what the user wants. And then the results are going to show DVDs about The Sun. All of the items are going to be in the DVD format. But let's explore it a little bit further. I'm going to type in Mars. All right. From our general search, we can see that we have over 1,300 items. And right now it is showing 10 items per page. So this is adjustable. We can change it to 20 all the way up to 100 so that we're not having to change pages so frequently. We can also sort it in a number of different ways on the right side here. So we can sort it by maybe the most popular titles, Maybe we want to sort it by publication date or title, then author. So this is interesting to play around with a little bit. Every item does have an icon that will help identify what format it is in. So similar to the last search we did with Sun, these are DVDs and they look like DVDs. The books look like books. There are Blu-rays and also audiobooks down at the bottom here. And then for any resources like Overdrive or Cloud Library, those are going to have their logos directly underneath. If you work with MARC records, if you click on the icon, it'll actually bring up the MARC record. So it's just a quick, easy way to access that in an emergency. On the right side here for each item, there are a few different links that we're going to talk about. The first one is the Where Is It link. And when we click it, it's going to show all of the copies at available libraries. And it's going to show us the status as well. So it'll have the library name, it'll have how many copies and how many are available. It'll have their shelf location, whether the item is in, and what type of item it is. So it looks like there is a lot of copies of this particular DVD and they all seem to be in. So perfect. If we wanted it, we could place a request. And now to place a request, there are two different ways to do that. We can do the one-click request, and clicking this button is going to instantly request the item to the user's preferred pickup location. So remember when we were in my account information and we were debating whether or not to change the pickup location, that is the library that it's going to go to. So if you're ever unsure, you can always go back up to my account and click to see where the user's preferred pickup location is. The second way to place a request is to hit place request. And this way is going to actually allow us to alter the pickup library. So maybe a user is going on vacation to Wabamun and they know the item is there and they want to pick it up there. So they could select Wabamun library. They could even alter the activation date. Maybe they're not leaving for a week, so they're going to place the activation date for 3 days so that the item is ready for them when they get there. And then you can submit the request. All right. To get into the item record, there's two ways to do this. We can either hit full display and it'll bring us to item information. Or if we go back, we can hit the title and it'll also bring us there. These item records are going to have all sorts of information, things like the title, author, publishing information, description. But I want to bring attention to these subject headings right here. So these help to identify specifically what the material is about. Some items are going to have many. Some could have like 10 plus. Others are going to have maybe one, maybe none, who knows? So it really depends on the item, but these help to kind of identify specifically what the item is about. Okay, there is one in particular that I'm going to bring up because I want to show some more item information. This is an Elephant and Piggy book called My New Friend Is So Fun by Mo Willems. So very popular series. Scrolling down to the bottom, we have the Where Is It information, which we saw similar on the right side from the search results, but we're going to close that. If we click underneath that to explore series, summary, and more, we have all sorts of information on the title and read-alikes and recommendations and reading levels, which can be really useful for readers advisory. So if a user were to come in and say, hey, I've read My New Friend Is So Fun, the Elephant and Piggy book, but I don't know what the next one is. Well, what we can do is we can go down here and they have the series laid out and they have each number that corresponds with the book. So we can even click see full series. We're going to look for My New Friend Is So Fun. Oh, it's highlighted right here. And that's number 21. So if they're looking for the next book in the series, we know that waiting is not easy as the next one. And so simply what we can do is click this item, and it's going to bring up search results for that item. So perfect, local availability. We have 43 of 70. Let's place a request. Let's get it to the user. So very easy to kind of map out what number a specific title is in a series. Underneath that, we have the read-alikes, and this is great for Reader's Advisory. So it has similar titles. It's going to have similar authors to Mo Willems in this case, and also similar series. So maybe users read all of the Elephant and Piggy books and they want a new series that's quite similar. This is going to have recommendations on that. Underneath that, we have story elements. So maybe someone read the Elephant and Piggy book and they really enjoyed the character duo element of it. If you click on here, it's going to bring suggestions from the online catalog that TRACPac currently has. We'll have to check if it's available to request or not. But there are items that TRACPac has that we can browse through and recommend to the user. So I will not ever eat a tomato. We can click on that and it'll bring us to the search results. All right. Directly below that, we have some Lexile and accelerated reading information. So this can be really helpful, especially for parents who are trying to find the correct level to reader for their children, because this is going to help indicate whether or not the reading level is appropriate for the child or for the reader. So it's important to know these. Now, not every item is going to have this comprehensive of information. Some are going to have more than others. This Elephant and Piggy book is from a very popular series, so there is a lot of information that is on this page. Other items might have very little or minimal information. It just really depends on specifically what's in the page. But for those that don't have a lot of information, I suggest using the novelist tool from the EResources. If you're trying to help with Reader's Advisory or trying to help users find similar items. Okay, so we're going to get into our searching now, or continue with our searching, and we're going to look at keyword search, which is the first one underneath here. So the keyword search is similar to the homepage's search bar, and the search is going to search by the keyword or words that you type in. However, this page gives you a few more ways to alter the search. You can see that you can search by either field, so title, author, subject, etc., or format like we previously have done. Underneath there, you can hit more search options, and it's going to give you a few more ways to search. So maybe by a specific library, maybe publication date, even by a specific language. So lots of ways to search. When we're searching, what we can do is we can use limiters to narrow down our results and find the perfect fit for patron requests. Now, the limiters and the features I'm about to show you can be very, very helpful for Reader's Advisory. But I need a keyword. Does someone want to type in any kind of keyword or phrase that we can use to limit down? Something like ice cream or soccer or science fiction. Perfect. Thanks, Scott. So we're going to go science fiction and start our search. All right. So just typing in science fiction, we can see we have over 24,000 results. So that's a lot. And that's not really easy for the user to flip through page by page to find specifically what they want. They're going to be here for years. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the narrow your search function on the side here. And we're going to use these limiters to narrow down our search so it's a little bit more manageable for the user to browse. The first one up here is availability. So we want something that's available now. We don't want to wait. We don't want to place a request. We don't want to put it on hold. We want to know what's available now, what can be shipped, or what's at the library. So if we click that, it's going to eliminate all the results that are not available now. And now we're down to over 19,000. If I click it again, it'll go back to our original search. Now, these numbers that are beside all these limiters are going to indicate to the user how many items or books or DVDs are within that range. So we know it available now that there's over 19,000. That looks good. Let's click that. Underneath that, we have type of material. So if we click more, it'll have all of them listed. So maybe it's a DVD, maybe it's an audiobook, Blu-ray. You can pick the specific material. Let's continue on with books for now. We'll close that. And now we've gone down to over 15,000 results. So we're getting there bit by bit. Underneath that, we have subjects. So TRACPac is going to recommend subjects to search by based on what you've typed in. Now, this is good to note that you don't have to select a function for each of these limiters. So we don't have to select a subject. If you're unsure or the user is unsure about, I don't know if I'm looking for good and evil, or I don't know if I'm looking for specifically graphic novels, you don't have to click it. So we're going to leave this one and leave it a little more broad. Then there's authors, maybe users looking for a science fiction book, but they don't remember the author. These are suggested authors that TRACPac is showing. And you can go through and be like, oh, I remember, it was Jack Kirby. And then you could click Jack Kirby and it's going to list all items that are tagged with Jack Kirby. We have series as well. So under science fiction, we have things like Star Wars, Animorphs, Shonen Jump manga. So maybe it is Star Wars books. They're like, oh yeah, it was Star Wars I was looking for. Again, you could click it. It's going to show the 105 results that are tagged with Star Wars series. Underneath that, we have the publication date. So maybe you're looking for a brand new book, something that came out in the past year. Maybe you're looking for something that came out a few years ago. So this allows the publication date limiter to be altered. We have a language limiter, so English, French, Spanish. If someone's looking for French materials or a language that is not English, this can be really useful to narrow those down to see what we have available. Let's continue on with English though. And then this one is really important. So this is going to be by specific library. So let's say someone's at Wetaskiwin and they say, I don't want to wait. I don't want to place a hold and have it shipped to Wetaskiwin Library. I want to know what's at the library right now that I can go to the shelf and check out. So then what we're going to do is we'll click that. And we have 839 results. So it's a little bit more manageable for the user to go through these 800 results as opposed to, what did we start with, 24,000. So we've cut out a lot of the excess of the things we don't necessarily need to be browsing through, because A, they're either not available, or B, they're not at the specific branch that the user wants. So very, very useful. Oh, and then there's one more. So there's literary form. So you can also choose fiction or nonfiction. Choose nonfiction, and the results show up as of there. All right, go back home. I'm just going to take another sip of water. So the next part on our search journey is we're going to look at the browsing, because maybe we don't have a specific idea of what the user is looking for. We're going to look at this browsing function with subject headings and see how that can be helpful for Reader's Advisory. So I'll go back here. like we've shown before, if I click on a random item, subject headings are added to every item in Track. So look, this one has quite a few. It's tagged with serial murderers, investigations, legal fiction. And they're usually going to be a specific word or a phrase that is associated with the item. So we're going to go back, please. There we go. Browse. When we're searching by subject heading, we can search by 4 different ways. We can do title, by author, by subject, or by series. So let's do subject. And we're going to search for Halloween. We're looking for Halloween books. Okay. So it's bringing up the Halloween subject headings, or the ones that it thinks you want. Right now it's showing 10 per page, but like the other search results, we can adjust this. On the left side here, it's going to have the headings. And you think of subject headings as like a giant bookshelf where all of them are organized in alphabetical order. So it's going to have Halloween. It's going to add any alphabetical subcategories to it. So Canada, juvenile literature, we have comic books, cookery, cooking, costumes. But maybe what we're looking for is not on here. We can click the next 10 headings and it'll bring us to the next 10 in that alphabetical order. So now we're on letter F within Halloween, or Halloween costumes now, Halloween decorations. You can go previous 10 headings too and go prior to that. So prior to Halloween, for subject headings, we have Jerry Halliwell, Hallmarks, Hallow Eve. So it makes it a little bit easier to visualize if you just think of a giant bookshelf and it's all alphabetical. What I was saying here before is that on the left side is going to be the title of the heading, but on the right side is going to be the number of items that are tagged with that heading in TRACpac. So for Halloween cooking, 46 items. And if we click Halloween cooking, it's going to bring us to the search results for those 46 items that are tagged with it. Sometimes headings can have more specific or narrower terms. In these cases, what you can do is you can click on them and they will bring you to more headings or to listed results. So right here, Halloween, it's also suggesting the narrower term of Halloween decorations. So we could click that and it's bringing us to the Halloween decorations section of the subject heading index. Click back. But it's also suggesting an alternative heading. So Halloween, do you mean haunted houses? And if we click that, it'll bring us to the haunted houses part of the subject heading index. Let's go back to browse. And so you can do this not just with subjects, but also with titles and with authors. So if I'm typing in, someone's looking for Harry Potter materials. All right, we have Harry Potter. We have a list of the items that are tagged Harry Potter. We also have some, looks like formats. They're looking for, let's say, large print Harry Potter materials. So if we click on that, it's going to bring us to our large print Harry Potter tagged materials. And so that it's just an easy way to get all of what we have specific to that search in one place so that the user can more accurately browse. Sometimes another example might be someone comes in and they say, I'm looking for a comedy, right? I'm looking for comedy films. It's easy to type in even genres and they'll come up and you can get more narrower. It has like fantasy comedies, parody films, slapstick, and then you can click on those, click further in, and it'll bring up search results. And you can say, here are all of the slapstick comedies that are available at the moment. All right. We're going to get into advanced searching now. Advanced searching is going to allow you to do some complex keyword searching. So you're going to be able to combine several search terms and select a search field for each one of them. So these fields include, title, author, subject, and you're able to select one for each term that we're connecting. Connecting search terms are known as Boolean operators. And we're going to look at 3 that TRACPac utilizes and 3 that are most common in libraries. So the first one is the AND operator. So let's start with an initial term. Let's use summer. So right now, if we press go, all of our search results are going to look up items tagged with summer. Using the AND operator means that the search results must match the search term before the operator and after the operator and. So if I want to find materials that are about summer and winter, so every item that comes up in these search results has to have summer and winter tagged in the item record. And we hit go, and it's going to bring up all of our results. So these are items that have been tagged winter, summer, summer, winter, and allows the user to search through. The next one is the OR operator. So we're going to do summer again, and we'll do winter again too. Why not? So the search results coming from the OR operator means that they can match either the search text before OR, the search results can match the text after OR, so just winter, or they can search a combination of the two together. So it's going to search everything tagged summer, everything tagged winter, and everything tagged summer and winter. So if we hit go, so last time we had about 400 results, and you can see we have a significant increase. We have over 14,000 results just from using the OR operator. So it's gonna broaden the search a bit because it's searching for not just summer and winter together. It's searching for summer on its own and winter on its own as well. The final operator is the NOT operator, and this is an operator of exclusion. So if I'm going to use summer, so we are looking for titles on the topic of summer, but we do not want anything to do with the weather. So our search results are going to list things that are tagged with summer, but it's going to exclude any items that have been tagged with weather. And our results are going to pop up here. So there's a lot of fun, different ways that you can combine these operators, and it gives you 3 spaces to be able to do that. So why don't we? Let's do summer again. Our second one, we want to find things about summer and plants. We're looking for summer plants. But we'd also be interested in finding out about spring. So right now, this search is going to search for titles that have summer plants in them and summer and spring as well. So that's what's going to list all the results here. However, we do not want anything to do with bugs. We want no bugs in our books. So you can use a combination of the operators to alter your results. And then they're going to show up here. We have just over 4,000 this time. Additionally, what you can do is you can also use these fields, the title and author, even by series or ISBN, and to get more specific and more customized advanced searching results. Now, for keyword and advanced searching, you can save your searches. So maybe this is a search that a user or yourself is frequently looking up. Every time you log in, you're always seeing if there's any new items popping up under these parameters. We can click Save Search, and we can give it a name. We'll put test. You can add some notes. It's going to list the search commands that you have inputted. And what's interesting about this too is you can also have the results of this specific search emailed to you. So you can have it emailed weekly or monthly so that you don't have to log in every time. The results will just be directly sent to you. You can click Save Search. Oh, we're going to hit plain text. Awesome. So our search has been saved. So we're going to go back home, and then remember on the left side here, we talked about saved searches earlier. So now we have that specific search. So when we log in, we can click that, the test search, and it'll bring us to our page here. We click search, and the results are listed there. So it's just an easy way to save the search if it's a frequently used by the user. All right, I'm gonna go back home. I'm just gonna check the chat quick to see if there's anything going on. Oh yeah, I use this feature all the time in academic libraries so I can get a list of all the books emailed weekly and I can see what was newly available. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting and really neat way to get up to date on new items. All right, so the last couple things that I want to go through are just request statuses, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the app just briefly. So under my account, if we click requests, this is where items are going to be when we put an item on hold. So upon placing an item on hold, most of them are going to show a pending status. And so the status is right in the middle here. Think of this pending status as the limbo in between clicking hold and the library finding or maybe not finding the item. An active status, like this item in the middle here, means that the item is currently not available, but the user is in line to get the item. So the hold is, right now we are number 1 of 1 in hold position for this particular item. If it has a ship status like this one, it means that the item has shipped from its home library and it's on its way to the requested one. So 2 days ago it shipped, so it looks like it's almost going to be here. If the item status has held, it means that the item has arrived at the requested library and it's currently being held for the user, and they're able to go in and check the item out. If you cancel a hold, so let's say you've placed a hold, even this one, it's active, and I say, you know what, I don't want this one anymore. It'll show a canceled status. So it shows that at some point you have requested the item, but it is now canceled. There are a few different ways to manipulate the items here. If you click on these squares on the side, you can suspend holds. So right now, this Clue Blu-ray is active, but if I click suspend, it's just going to hold off on the hold. So I won't be in line anymore, but it's not going to delete itself from my request page. I just need to wait a little bit. I'm not ready to watch Clue the movie. I'm going to wait a couple days and then reactivate my request. Okay, now I'm ready. So then you're going to hit reactivate selected and it'll reactivate the request and put you back in hold position, or if it's available, send it to the requested library. Additionally, you can also cancel the selected items if you've changed your mind and you don't want it at all. You can also change the pickup location, which can be really useful. Maybe you didn't intend to have it shipped to Yellowhead Regional Library. Maybe you wanted it to go to Wabamun where you're going on vacation. So this is where you can do that and quickly change that before it's shipped, because once it's shipped, it's on its way to that specific library. All right. Oh, I was also going to talk about magazines and placing holds on magazines. I'm going to use Vogue magazine as an example. Vogue is popular. Because when we're requesting physical issues from libraries, it can get a little tricky. I just want to show what that looks like and how that happens. So we know that a magazine is a magazine from this icon. It's the serial icon. And how we request specific issues is we go to the Where Is It tab. So we don't click Place Request or one-click request. We go into here and it's going to show the libraries that have this particular magazine. And it's going to show what issues they have. So looks like Cochrane Public Library, and there's August 2020, August 2021, etc. Grand Prairie has some, Hinton has some. So you can find the specific issue that the user is looking for. Maybe it's this May 2020 issue here. And to request, oh, this one we can't though. See, we got to watch out for this. This says non-circulating. So that means that the magazine is not available to be requested. We want to look for in. That's going to allow us to request the magazine to our library. So now it's the October 2020 issue we want. To request the item, you're going to hit this little screen with the arrow that's right beside it, and you'll hit Place Request, and you'll be able to select the pickup library, activation date, and submit the final request. Just good to know for finding specific magazines. I do recommend though, Overdrive does have a large selection of magazines, and they tend to have, you know, further backlog of titles. If the user is comfortable reading digital magazines, I definitely recommend showing them Overdrive and getting them involved in that. It's going to make it a lot easier and more instant for their access. All right. So we're going to end on the app here. And I'm just going to briefly mention some things about it. So we noted that you can download it for iPhone or for Android, either on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Very similar to the desktop site, it'll ask users to log in with their library card, and many of its functions are near identical. It's just the way it's visualized is a little bit different. One really cool feature about the app, though, is this Scan ISBN barcode feature. And this gives the user the ability to scan the barcode of any item. So it could be a DVD or a book. And after scanning it through the app, it's going to show whether or not Track has the item in the catalog, and it's going to bring up any results for that item. So this can be really useful. Maybe you're at a popular bookstore, or you're looking for movies somewhere, and you don't really want to spend $50 on that hardcover. You want to see if the library has it. Well, you can scan the barcode and it'll bring up the results, and which you can then place a holder or request on. Oh, where am I? Here we go. All right, so I'm going to check the chat one more time. Kind of nearing the end here, but I wanted to leave a little bit of time in case there's any search questions or anything specific that we can maybe answer for you. Take a look. Does that work for libraries who break up DVD sets? Oh, that is specific to the magazine question. I am not 100% sure about that. Let's find out. Oh, it is. Yes. Stephanie says yes. I trust Stephanie, so that is the answer. Yeah, so I assume it would be similar in that you're going into Where Is It. You would have to go down to the specific volume of the DVD and request it individually that way. Excellent. Thank you, Vicky. Thanks, Stephanie. Great. Awesome. Well, if there is no more further questions, it looks like we're done just a little bit early here, but I do want to thank everyone for attending today. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact YRL headquarters. Thank you to Jessica, who helped monitor the chat, and all the staff and everyone who's attended today. Thank you very much. Okay.